Hi students, welcome back. This is week 6 of our lecture. Before you watch this video, you know what I'm going to say. Please press pause and print out your handout. Again, this is week 6. Please highlight all the terms so we can go over it together. Let's start with the first one. Students, maybe you already know this. This first one is a noun. Please repeat after me. Pseudonym. I think you can do better. Pseudonym. A little faster. Pseudonym. One more time. Pseudonym. Students, a pseudonym is just another name for it is pen name. What do I have here? A name that someone, such as a writer, uses instead of his or her real name. Students, do you know who Samuel Clemens is? Samuel Clemens. No? He's better known by his pseudonym, Mark Twain. Mark Twain is the pseudonym that the famous author Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, uses. His most famous books, as you probably know, are Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Notice you can see his pseudonym there, Mark Twain. In Korean, pseudonym is Pilmyoung. Pilmyoung. There's a couple of examples on your handout. Mark Twain is the pseudonym of the American writer Samuel Clemens. And students, I don't know if you've ever read the Harry Potter books. Frankly, I was already an adult when those books started coming out, so I've never read them, but the author, J.K. Rowling, she's so famous from writing the Harry Potter books that a few years ago she wrote a mystery novel. I'm not sure what the genre was, but it was not fantasy, it was not for children, and she used a man's name, a male pseudonym, to disguise her true identity, I guess fearing that well, she wanted to write a book under a different name. Anyway, students, pseudonym is just a pen name, usually, but not always, employed by authors. Okay, look at the next one. It's an adjective. This is a good word. Translucent. Please say it with me. Translucent. One more time. Translucent. Good. Translucent of some substance. It could be different things. For example, water or glass, allowing light to pass through. Semi-transparent, not completely, but semi-transparent. And students, people often get the word transparent and translucent confused, and I just want to take a moment to clarify those two meanings. Things that are transparent are so clear you can see right through them as if nothing was there. And things that are translucent allow light to pass through, but with significant distortion. Let's see, do I have a picture? Yes. Let's see here. Take a look, guys. Look at this photo, and please tell me, is this transparent or translucent? it's transparent. You can see right through, no trouble at all. Now take a look at this picture, guys. This is a chess set, and the pieces are made of glass. Take a look. You guys see that? Look at these pieces. Translucent or transparent? These pieces are transparent, and the frosted pieces might be called translucent. You can see through them, but not well. Students, take a look at this. I'm not sure if you've ever been to a cathedral in Europe, but there are many beautiful stained glass windows. I'm not sure what that's called in Korean, but take a look at this. Stained glass is translucent. Light can pass through, but there's the light is diffused or distorted. In Korean, translucent is bantumyeonghan. Bantumyeonghan. I have an example on your paper. The translucent stained glass let light through, but only offered a limited view of the world beyond. Good. Let's go to the next one. This next one I like. It's an adjective. Together, please. Eccentric. Eccentric. The noun form, which you don't have to know for the test, is eccentricity. Eccentricity. And plural, again, you don't have to know this for the test, it's eccentricities. Going back to the original, the adjective, eccentric. Good. Eccentric, guys, tending to act in strange or unusual ways. In my own mind, guys, it just means strange or unusual. Are you eccentric? I don't know if this has a positive or negative connotation, but I think we're all eccentric in our own ways. We have, I don't know, peculiar habits that other people may not follow. What do I have here? Students, I want to show you something. This is a famous painting by the Spanish artist. His name is Salvador Dali. This is a very famous painting. You might be familiar with it. And here's another famous painting by Salvador Dali. His works of art are quite strange, and the man himself, take a look at this, he has a very long mustache. Students, I don't have a picture, but there are photographs of him. He had a pet anteater, and he would take it for a walk on the streets of Paris. Anyway, I think he's a brilliant artist, but yeah, I think we can say he was a little bit eccentric. Does it have a positive or negative connotation? It depends on how you say it and the context and who's it about. In Korean, Byelnan? Byelnan? Are you Byelnan? Jokum? In Korea, I have an example. Professor Haven is well known for his eccentric behavior. On more than one occasion, students have witnessed him howling at the moon. Ow! Moving on. Students, out of all the words today, this is one I really want you to know. We've been spending a lot of time covering high English vocabulary developing your vocabulary. This next word, it's a noun. Please repeat after me. Lexicon. Lexicon. Listen very carefully, guys. In my own mind, it just means vocabulary, but the definition is important. The vocabulary of a person, me, you, your mom, anyone, the vocabulary of a person, a language, French, English, German, Korean, and on, the vocabulary of a person, language, or branch of knowledge. For example, engineering, medicine, law. In all of those fields, there is specific nomenclature used in those fields of study. Look at the examples, guys. In the first year of law school, we learned a large number of words that became the basics of our, listen carefully, legal lexicon. So there are words, again, in law school that I never use in day-to-day language. There is a specific language for different fields of study, or branch of knowledge, as I have on here. Take a look at this, guys. Just in my own mind, students, when I hear the word lexicon, I just think vocabulary. I'm sorry if it's a little noisy. There's a helicopter flying above. These are pages from a dictionary. All right, guys. A few more. I'm sorry for the noise. Waiting for the helicopter to pass. Okay, let's go to the next one. It's a noun. Students, I think all of you should be familiar with this term. Armistice. In Korean, Yujan, a temporary peace, a halt in the fighting. And frankly speaking, guys, when I hear armistice, I think about Korea. I have just a very short example. Diplomats hope to negotiate an armistice between the warring countries. I have a picture of an old newspaper. This is dated November 11th, 1918. Let's see it. Armistice is signed, Germany surrenders. So again, this newspaper was first printed at the end of the First World War, 1914 to 1918. Students, I want you to know that word, armistice, if you don't know it already, Yujan. All right, guys, moving right along, let's go to the next one. It's a verb, dishearten. Dishearten. Please say it after me. Dishearten. Let's make it past tense. Disheartened. Let's make just a very small sentence. I was disheartened. Good. One more time, faster. I was disheartened. He was disheartened. She was disheartened. We were disheartened. What do I have here? Disheartened? In my own mind, it means discouraged, but on your handout I have a more full definition. To make a person lose confidence, hope, and energy. It's all of those things. I have a picture. This is what disheartened looks like. So here's a woman. Looks like she's at her desk. She's overwhelmed with all the books. She's feeling disheartened, hopeless. She's low on energy. Have you ever felt disheartened? Me too. Oh yeah, I'm human. Some examples, disheartened. For example, do not let your low score on your midterm dishearten you. There's always time to raise your class average. I have another example. The farmer was disheartened by the damage done to his crops. In Korean, nakshimhan. Nakshimhan, and disheartening, nakshim shigida. Nakshim shigida. Disheartening. Learn it. I want you to know it. And students, above all else, I know that you probably, at the end of the semester, may not remember all of these words. Another helicopter. The pilot wants to join our class. I know you may not remember all of these words, but some of these words, 2 or 3, whichever ones are your favorite, I want you to learn for life. For example, dishearten or procure, harbinger, and so on and so forth. Whichever words are your favorite, never mind the test. Learn them and try using them. It'll make your professor happy. Anyway, dishearten. This next one, very easy. Everyone knows this one. It's an adjective. Titanic. Say it with me, guys. Titanic. You no doubt have seen the Hollywood movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Came out 1997. The Titanic. We're all familiar with the story. The Titanic was doomed on its maiden voyage in April of 1912. Students, Titanic, as you might guess, means enormous. Of enormous size, strength, power, and pay close attention to that last word, scope. It means range. Some synonyms: monumental, gigantic. Look at the example. Persuading our international partners to sign the ambitious agreement is our objective and will require titanic effort, meaning, as you might guess, a large effort. In Korean, gadaehan. Take a look at this, guys. This is a photograph in California. I've never been to California, but there's a famous park, and it's called a redwood forest, and the trees are ancient, hundreds and hundreds of years old. Take a look at this, guys. Can you see the children at the base of this Titanic tree? Huge, enormous, Titanic. Again, I've never been there, but I would love to go. I don't know why there's so many helicopters flying over. Just my luck. Anyway, students, Titanic, gadaehan. We're almost finished, guys. A couple more and then we'll be done. This one is quite timely. Notice, students, this next one I have both noun and verb. I want you to know them both. So, students, plague. One more time. Plague. Again. Plague. So, you guys already know this. An easily spread disease causing a large number of deaths. I have an example and a helicopter flying overhead. In the 1400s, excuse me, 14th century, a plague spread by infected rats wiped out about 1/4 of the population of Europe. In Korean, yakpyeong or Jun Yumpyeong. I'm sorry, my pronunciation is not so good. Take a look. Students, as you may know from your history class, there were fleas on the rats, and the fleas were on merchant ships, and it traveled from town to town. It bit the sailors, got the sailors sick, and whenever they disembarked, the blood, I know this is quite gross, but the blood from the rat spread to the people, and the plague spread. Now students, look at the next example. First we have the noun. There's also a verb. I want you to know this as well. Plague, to annoy or bother. Has nothing to do with disease. Say it with me once more. Plague. Plague. Good. I want you to know this, guys. To annoy or bother. This is the verb. Look at the example. Mosquitoes will plague the campers if they forget to wear insect repellent on their hike. In this case, guys, Guelap Hida or Sanga Shige Hada. I want you to know them both, students. And the last one, and then we'll be finished, I promise. It's an adjective. Tedious. One more time, so I can hear you. Tedious. Again. Tedious. Students, in my own mind, something tedious is boring. Long, tiresome, monotonous. That just means like repetitive, doing the same action over and over. So for example, I imagine working at a factory would be tedious work. Students, I love you, I love teaching, but grading quizzes can be tedious. It takes a lot of time. I have to be very careful. In Korean, Jirohan? Jirohan. Maybe some of you think my lecture is tedious. Yes? Wait a minute. It's me. So students, if you ever have any trouble remembering what tedious means, just think about our class. Okay. Let's review just very, very quickly. Mark Twain. What's the vocabulary word? Pseudonym. Look at the glass. What's the word? Translucent. So light can pass through, but there's distortion or diffusion of light. Diffusion means spread out. Salvador Dali, eccentric. He was an eccentric artist. The vocabulary of a person, language, or branch of knowledge. Lexicon. Students, I want you to know this word. If you don't learn any words this semester, this is one I want you to know. Lexicon. To feel discouraged. A person loses confidence, hope, and energy. What's that word? Disheartened. Past tense, disheartened. An easily spread disease causing a large number of deaths. So easy. Plague. Titanic. Students, on the test, I'm not going to write anything about the ship. So you need to have a broad understanding of Titanic. For example, that giant tree, it has Titanic girth, meaning it's wide. What else? Oh yes. My lecture. Tedious. Right. All right. Guys, we'll stop here. Students, just some closing remarks. I received an email that our online classes will be extended, and hopefully, we can meet and have regular classes on April 13th. That's what I've been told. I don't want you to be disheartened. I want you to keep a positive attitude, and I promise we'll get through this together, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye, guys.